Hey everybody, it's Robert coming to you with another adventure into history. Today I am in Troup County, Georgia. Mrs. Linda McCardle has joined me again today to take a look at this incredible historic cemetery. And what I believe you said hidden under that vinyl siding is the oldest church still standing.
Oldest church building in Troup County. We're in Gabbettville, Georgia, in the Long Cane community. There's Long Cane Creek is somewhere near here, and that's where the community got its name. This church was established in 1829, and it's very unusual because a group of Presbyterians and Baptists came together and formed this church. One would meet one Sunday and one would meet the next Sunday. The church was actually built in 1834. Until that time they would have camp meetings on the grounds, or during the winter they'd meet in people's houses. As soon as it was built, they had finished it, it burned to the ground. So they built it again in 1834. The church was used as a hospital during the Civil War. They said in 1951 they were redoing some remodeling on the church, putting a new roof on, and they took up all the old carpet and they found blood stains all over. So they knew that really was the story, that it was used as a hospital. Wilkinson's raiders came through this area, and they said people stayed up all night, sat in front of the church, hoping that they wouldn't burn it, and they didn't. They didn't burn it. But in 1887, the Presbyterians decided they were tired of meeting with the Baptists, so they formed a Presbyterian church. It's called Lloyd's Chapel. It was named for the oldest member of their congregation. So they pulled away from this church, so then it became Baptist church only. And it also, when the church was built, it does have a galley for their enslaved people, because most of the people that went here were planters, and they did have an enslaved population. I thought this was just such an interesting story, because usually you don't find two congregations that stay together that long.
Right,
yeah. So it's two stories, so usually the galley for the enslaved people was upstairs, but it only had one entrance. Usually these older churches have two entrances, but this only has one. So
I'd love to see what it looks like under all that vinyl siding.
I would too. I would love to go inside.
Me too.
I love these old churches. I never get to go inside. So.
Yeah. This cemetery has a wide variety of markers. Very early settlement, box tombs, of course rock walls, and even some additional graves of families that were moved here when they were building the lake.
West Point Lake. So there's four sets of families, small sets, but they moved them here.
And I think you said those are down
Down in the very bottom.
Gotcha.
We'll start with the Cameron family.
Okay.
I know where he is because there are two holes there.
Oh, so they
tried to attach it, or?
Yeah, these two pins were run through this marble. Sometimes it's old stuff. Huh. I don't know, that's interesting. So this is in memory of James Cameron, who was born April 24th, 1764, and died April 17th, 1840, age 76 years and 23 days.
Yes. James Cameron was born in Scotland. He came to America with several other groups of people, and he settled in South Carolina. 1776, he joined the South Carolina line, served in the Revolutionary War for 2 years and 2 months until Charleston fell. And then after the war, he received 202.5 acres here it was from the Creek Treaty signed by William McIntosh that got him killed, the Indian Springs Treaty. But that's where all this land came from, was that Creek Treaty. And he moved here with several different families. They moved and settled right here in Long Cane. He built the first house here in Long Cane. He was a wealthy planter. In 1790, he married Sarah Brown, and she has a very interesting story that I'll tell you about later. And they got married in South Carolina and then moved here. By 1830, they had moved to Jasper County and then moved on here. And the Camerons had 11 children. 4 of them are buried here, and several of their grandchildren are buried here.
Sacred to the memory of Sarah Cameron, consort of James Cameron, was born February 24th, 1868, and died December 16th, 1850.
She was a Revolutionary War heroine. At the age of 15, her father and her brothers had joined the cause. The Browns came from Scotland, and they were very anti-British, you can imagine. And they joined the Revolutionary War in South Carolina. Her home was surrounded by Tories, British loyalists. Well, the father's gone. The mother, they have several young children. Sarah's the oldest, and they were running out of flour and meal. And her mother said, I'm afraid to go. And she said, I'll go. And she said, I'm afraid for you to go. And she said, I ride the best. I'm the fastest. I can go. So she went. The mill was 10 miles away. She rode to the mill without any incident. And but the miller told her, he said, they're out about scouting. You've got to be careful. So she loaded the mill onto her horse, started back, and she heard horse hoofs behind her. She decided she'd go a little bit faster. Then she heard someone yell, halt. And she had to make a decision. Would she drop the mill and flee, or would she keep the mill? Well, she decided that she would drop that bag, and she outran them. So she was considered a hero to the patriots that were living in that area. And then her family had come with the Camerons, and so she and James ended up marrying. That story was in the Troup County newspaper. They came and honored him in 1929, but they didn't put a new marker, I guess because he already had a marker. But anyway, he's one of the very few Revolutionary War soldiers that's been identified that was living in this area. I'm sure there were more, but their graves are unmarked.
This one is sacred to the memory of James H. Cameron, who was born December 24th, 1800, and died June 11th, 1850.
And he married Emily Castleberry.
February 14th, 1814 to January 31st, 1899. Blessed are the dead which die in the Lord.
I think the rest of them are buried up here.
This is Elizabeth White, daughter of James and Sarah Cameron, who was born March 2nd, my birthday, 1808, and died January 30th, 1841, aged 32 years, 10 months, and 28 days. This is sacred to the memory of James T. Cameron, who was born March 9th, 1833, and died October 2nd, 1841.
This is a grandchild.
Sacred to the memory of William S. Cameron, who was born September 15th, 1825, and died October 6th, 1841.
And this is David Brown Cameron. That's his son, but then James's grandson too.
This is Mrs. Nancy Cameron, who was born July 30th, 1796, and died December 12th, 1855, age 59 years, 4 months, and 12 days. And then Thomas Cameron, born April 26th, 1796, and died September 15th, 1859. At the bottom it just reads, all is well.
Thomas Brown Cameron was James's son, but he is the one that was worth $50,000, which would be, if you go by the worth calculator, it said 200 million. So I don't know, but he apparently was very wealthy, very wealthy.
Let's see, sacred to the memory of David B. Cameron, who was born May 29th, 1798, and died September 13th, 1849.
David is James's son. He married a Mary Lyle. Mary was the daughter of Matthew Lyle, who was a British loyalist. And when we walk over that way, see if we can't, his grave is unmarked, but I thought this was very interesting that his father was a Revolutionary War patriot and her father was a loyalist.
Right.
A traitor.
And then right behind there's a marble box William M. Cameron died February 12th, 1872, age 63 years. To know him was to love him.
He was a son, but he never married.
It's interesting to see the progression of the box tombs here, from the fieldstone stacked box tombs that we see that were all 1840s to the 1850s quarried box, and then this one that's a marble box. It's kind of a progression of all the false crypt styles.
I'm not sure where Benjamin Hazelton Cameron, this is another son, but he never married either, but he was an architect, and he designed the Troup County courthouse. So this family was very well known and very influential in Troup County.
There's a concrete box tomb right there that's
just
all
disintegrated.
busted up, yeah.
This is a Fomby. Here's a Cameron.
Yeah, this is Mary Cameron, relict, which I think means widow,
Yes.
of David B. Cameron.
Okay, this would have been Mary Lyle Cameron.
So there's the backside of the Cameron plot there. We're walking this way to look for the grave of the loyalist. I thought this was interesting. This is a little brick box tomb with a marble slab on top that has slid off, and you can see how the marble is bent and warped, just leaning off. It's Minnie L. Harper, wife of W.J. Davidson, born April 15th, 1871, died August 25th, 1895.
There are several Davidsons buried here, but I cannot connect them to the Harris County Davidsons. So I'm sure they were, because they all moved to the West Point area. So I'm sure they're connected, but I have not been able to, but it's on my list.
Right.
I hate a mystery, or I love a mystery. I don't like to not know what.
And so the grave of the loyalist, you have, I guess, old directions to it?
I wonder if it said near Robert Hall's grave. So Robert Hall is buried up here. We could do him.
From 1991, right here. It's just interesting that it's
up here.
Look at that. You can see where they've been going over it with the lawnmower, and it's taken off. Like they've hit it with a lawnmower and edger or something. You see it's just kind of sheared off. Look at all that damage on there from people who don't know what they're doing with lawn equipment out here.
All right, this is Robert Hall. Robert Hall was in the War of 1812.
He was born July 29th, 1778 in Iredell County, North Carolina, and died 1862.
And he married Cynthia Newton. She was the daughter of John Newton, and there's a lot of Newton relatives buried here. He was a very famous Presbyterian minister. He was from North Carolina. He's not buried here, but a lot of his descendants are. Yeah. Robert and Cynthia were Presbyterians, as were the Camerons.
Oh, really?
They were Presbyterians, yes. It said that Matthew was buried. He was buried near Robert Hall, and it was under a cedar tree that had been cut down. It said this has been like in the early 1900s that somebody recorded this. So, it could have been a cedar tree there that's grown over, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, and it was described as a concrete slab or something, right?
Yes.
This is not concrete, but when did he die?
He died 1838.
So he wouldn't have had concrete in 1838, but I could see how someone could mistake that for concrete.
He was born in Ireland in 1753, which makes me wonder why he wanted to fight for the British.
Right.
It said he's buried under a large cedar tree that was cut down. It had a concrete slab.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, but that is Robert Hall, so possibly he's buried somewhere around here.
Yeah.
But they did keep a few records of these unmarked graves.
We don't know for sure, but I would think that this might be it, and just somebody mistook that rock for concrete.
I looked all over there, and I could not find one.
They said it was near the Hudsons too, right?
Yes, it was near the Hudsons and Robert Hall. And he was originally buried in the unmarked grave, and so someone has come in and marked him.
And those are the Hudsons up there?
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe. Probably so. It's too bad there's not a cedar stump to confirm it.
I know. I was hoping to come over here this morning and find that cedar stump, but
Right.
I didn't.
It's hand engraved concrete. I can't even make out the name.
Abe Watson, Rowan.
Rowan was born, and then death date died 1935.
So that's not a cedar tree.
Yeah.
That's probably holly. I was wondering about this. Is this maybe more than one person buried in this, or was it like a wall around a plot?
It does look like a wall around the plot, but
They didn't describe it in the cemetery.
either one or two graves in here. It's hard to say.
Certainly an older.
Yeah, it was. I don't see, there's a lot of rock has fallen. If there was a marker in there, it might be under some of the rock. It does have a cedar tree right here, though.
Okay.
An old little bitty cedar stump. Had an andina growing in there too. It was at one time a well-stacked rock wall. Maybe, I guess a tree probably had to do all this damage to it. Something falling on it.
Or roots growing under it, because when roots start growing under something, it starts loosening all those stones, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting to see older graves that are down the hill. Usually the cemetery starts.
I'm wondering if those were the Presbyterians, and these might have been the Baptists. I'm not sure. Or they just separated there. It did not make distinctions and find a grave, or just if I did research and found some information about the family, it would say they were Presbyterians, but
right.
They never said Baptist, so I have no clue.
Now this is an old grave style. We've seen this before. This is, I think we saw this in maybe Meriwether County. This is that soapstone, and so whoever made this would have been the same person that made it over in Meriwether County, because it had the exact same design on it.
Interesting.
And this is that real soft kind of soapstone that almost looks green, and it's got this intricate carving in it. And the one that was over in Meriwether County, yeah, the one over in Meriwether County had the same heart. And in memory of John Wilkinson, who was born February 16th, 1832, and died November 4th, 1833. So
the Wilkinson family is an old family too.
And I think that this is a native to here rock that they were using. And I think that's what all of these are. All of these are that type of rock. And it's same thing, heart at the top, that designs carved into it, like a cross in both corners. And this is all just, kind of crudely. I hate to really use that word because it's very fine engraving. I couldn't do that, but it's more crude than the marble engravings. In memory of Elizabeth M. Wilkinson, was born July 4th, 1840, and died July 2nd, 1868.
I find Neil Wilkinson. He brought his family here, and they built a house very close to the Chattahoochee River, and one of his daughters married a Harelson, and they moved the house about 2 miles up the road. This
one is massive. If I get right up next to it, maybe you can see. So this one, and it's still that crude kind of carving in there, but a little bit more intricate on this one, with all these different designs. You have, of course, the design work on the top, then you have a deeply engraved heart, have a finger pointing over here, so, some kind of design there.
Rebecca Wilkinson, who was born April 4th, 1809, died November the 7th, 1872.
And then again, you got that carving hearts. It's just really interesting. It's almost looks like folk art
Yes.
kind of carving.
Beautiful. To get perspective, I am 5 feet tall,
Yeah, there you go.
so it's almost as tall as I
Yeah,
am.
that's the biggest one I've ever seen. And then
This one may be taller than me.
we go again, there's another one. So again, same type of rock. So again, we've got the hearts right there. We've got this design here, a deeply engraved heart. We still have that kind of crude engraving, but with each one we get fancier and fancier. It says farewell wife and children right there, very fine engraving, similar to what you see on marble. Then it's got two hands shaking, but look at how it's very folk art.
Yes.
With the hands, the long fingers there. And it says farewell friends,
Here below, but here is spelled
H-E-A-R.
instead of H-E-R-E.
Yeah.
So definitely a folk artist.
In memory of Neil. And then you've got this really interesting, I don't know it.
Because his name was Neil K. Neil.
And see, we've got a K in
K.
the middle, but have two, like folk art kind
Yes,
of
isn't that interesting?
designs there. And then Wilkinson,
was born
May 20th,
1804 and died
February 27th.
1865. And then
Yeah.
that is, look at that.
Another, and then look at the little detail down here too, with the,
That's the same, maybe it's like fringe.
yeah, that is cool.
Oh, it is. I love that. I love that.
That is one of the most unique, that is the most unique grave marker I've ever seen. We got, again, another one, same material, in memory of David L. Wilkinson, who was born February 5th, 1836, and died May 11th, but then the date, the year, is below the soil.
They had 8 children. 7 of the 8 are buried here, but 3 were under the age of 5 when they passed. So that may have been a smaller. And here's a skinny one again.
In memory of
Ezra Wilkinson.
E-E-Z-R-A is how it's spelled.
Yeah, Ezra, born
December 12th, 1846, and died 1851, August 21st, 1851.
so he was 5.
And then one more. In memory of William D. Wilkinson, was born July 7th, 1849, died November, and again we go back underground, but I think I can get to it. 1849. 49.
So one of them was under a year old, I think, when they.
Oh, these are really interesting grave markers, and I would love to know who is doing these.
I would too. Well, I've learned a lot from you about the change in styles and of headstones and obelisks, and so it's. But I like you. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I've seen so many different cemeteries. It's always surprising to see something that's different in our area. Yeah. So we are down the hill now. If you look back up, there are those incredible, like kind of the green soapstone, and then that's where we started, up there behind the church. We're at these 2 fine marble obelisks. This one has the clasping hands as well engraved on it. That's some unique engraving too. We part to meet again.
This is Leroy Clark Potts.
Born in Jasper County, February 18th, 1827, died July 30th, 1858. This is in memory of James Monroe Potts, born in Jasper County, Georgia, August 20th, 1825, died June 30th, 1858. Earth hath one suffer less, heaven one angel more. Sleep sweetly in thy narrow bed, where once thy Savior laid his head. Guard well, O grave, thy sacred trust, till life divine awakens thy sleeping dust. Moses died April 11th, 1845, age 53 years. Moses Potts died April 11th, 1845, age. Isn't that interesting?
Yes, it's
It repeats the death date there. You know what? It's almost like this was a test engraving and there's supposed to be an obelisk on top.
I bet.
Because you see where this is carved, it's got this little lip right here, and usually when it has this little lip and square cutout right here, it's designed for an obelisk to sit right here. When I've repaired graves that have had obelisks sitting on them, they've had that kind of lip right there, and I guess that's how, you know, they would know where to set the obelisk and then mortar it down. So it's like it was designed for an obelisk, and maybe this was just some kind of test engraving or something, and then they, you know, it was meant to be covered up, and either never was, or I can't imagine the obelisk just having disappeared, but something like that. Anyway, Moses Potts died April 11th, 1845, age 53 years. And again, I hate to keep jumping back up, but notice the engraving is different on all three lines, almost like they were doing like a test. Do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want that? And then don't worry, we'll cover that up, you know. Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord. And then there's a very long broken epitaph.
Wow. Well, either the family ran out of money or they decided he wouldn't get an obelisk.
I've seen it before on different graves that were where there would be like a test engraving and then they'd cover it up. Were these, you don't think these were any of the ones that were moved, do you?
This may have been because I believe it was Potts, because I think they said all the graves down here are from that set of, and I could not find much information on them, so I didn't. But now that you say that, I think this is probably one of the ones that were moved. Because they said they were all small family grave, you know, small family cemeteries.
Yeah, and it was moved for the lake. But I wonder if
it got broken.
Yeah, I wonder if it did have an obelisk and it's in the lake now.
Probably in the lake.
Didn't get moved.
But I do appreciate the fact that they tried to move.
Yeah, absolutely. These are the Newtons.
Oh, yes. Okay. Find Ebenezer.
Ebenezer right here. Ebenezer Newton, born, that's a cool engraving style, June 20th, 1790. Died, look at that. I hope it'll show up on video. August 27th, 1859, asleep in Jesus.
Ebenezer was the son of John Newton, who was the famous Presbyterian minister. He studied to become a teacher. He taught at the University of Georgia. After his father died, he was sent many times. He was sent to live with an uncle who ran a school, and he studied with him for 3 years. Then he went to Cornell. His wife, Anne T. Newton, Anne Strong. He married her, and she was born 1797, so 1888, she was fairly old. When he left, I think, Cornell, he went to visit one of his relatives, and he kept a diary, and it's in the Georgia Historical Quarterly, and so I read it, and it's very interesting about what he saw, because he, you know, going in, you didn't go highways, you went through the woods, and he visited an aunt, and by 1850, he was living in Troup County, and by then he was a farmer, and they had 6 children. But there are several Newtons that married into other families that are in this area. But I thought it was interesting that he was a professor at the University of Georgia. Google his name, that diary will pop up, and it is very interesting reading. You know, it was an interesting read to me. It was very short, but.
And I think we've got, look at this, we've got another one of these kind of soapstone monuments here. This one is a little bit different, a little bit bigger, but same again.
Oh, it is. It's the same font, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to see because of all the lichen on it, but we've got the engraving at the top. We've got a hand there and a heart in memory of, but look at this, how it's in memory of MD. Is that Esther? It looks like Fisher, Fisher,
M.D. Fisher, who was born
September the first,
September
1890.
20, I think. Would it be? No.
1820? Yeah, probably so.
He died
October the 3rd, 1864. So yeah, and then there's an engraving down there too.
Oh, I wonder what. This is killing it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I was just about to say I'd love to get permission to spray some D2 on this, because this is one that would definitely deserve to be saved. You mind holding that for me for just a minute? I wanted to point out several things on here, that the S is backwards on Fisher, was, and September. See that backwards S? That's really, really interesting.
Okay. This is the grave of Richard Hiram Brady, who was born in 1795. He died 1870. He came from Jones County, and in 1825 he won one of the lotteries and drew land here in Troup County. He moved to Troup County, and in 1834 he gave an acre of land across the road to build the Long Acre Academy. He served on the board of trustees there. He also was appointed by the Troup County Superior Court to be an estate appraiser. They said he did that for many years. He also served as a justice of the peace. He was fairly wealthy. His son John, if we can find John, was served in the Civil War, but he married Lottie Smith.
And she's right here. She died 1877, age 79 years. She was born AD 1798. Mrs. Lottie Brady, consort of Richard H. Brady.
And a very sad story, their granddaughter, Lizzie, died in Michigan on Lake, I'm not sure I'm saying it, Guago. She was in nursing school in Michigan. She was 25, and she and a group of her friends went out on the lake, and a steamer just plowed right through them. There were 6 in the boat. Only one survived, but Lizzie did not. And so she is buried here, but they said in an unmarked grave. They had the story in the paper about her, and they said she was buried here. They didn't say unmarked grave, but then later on it said it was an unmarked grave.
This is the Ridgway family here. Those look like a little bit newer graves, and that's still a little bit newer. In 1949, Ridgways had a very large plantation that was very near to the Hutchinson plantation. And of course, we've talked about the Hutchinsons before. So this is an interesting grave here. Reverend Henry Clay Ayers, born January 14th, 1897, died July 22nd, 1948. And it says missionary to Africa, 1924 to 1948. And now thy faith is sight. What did that say? Now thy faith is sight. Lay to err Florent.
Maybe that's another, not English. But he went to Young Harris College, then he went to Cornell. He also studied at Emory. And he took his family. He had a large family, and they spent all those years in the Belgian Congo. But they all came back with him when he got so sick. And he died in 1948. So.
Do you know what his illness was?
No, it just said he became very ill. He was probably maybe an exotic thing they did not know how to treat there or here.
So right here in the middle is Hambleton H. Green, born June 8th, 1812, died January 15th, 1873, age 60 years, 7 months, and 7 days. Our father, it says at the bottom.
He was very wealthy. After the Civil War, he lost probably more than half of his fortune. But it was an interesting story. In 1873, he ate breakfast. He was his friend who was a doctor came by to visit him, and they said, "You want to go for a drive?" So they were out riding, and his friend said he felt him put his head on his shoulder, then slump over. He died.
Oh, wow.
So he said he left with his friend alive and returned with a corpse. That's what was in the newspaper.
Wow.
But he married Ellen Andrews
And she is right here.
Gibson, and they had 8 sons and daughters. And his home was very near here, and William Davidson made a picture of it before it's gone now. But
Oh, gotcha.
It's in the Pine Log and Greek Revival, his home. For as wealthy as they were, it wasn't a very ostentatious home. It was just, and I noticed that most of the homes in this area were not. Even though they had a good bit of money before the Civil War, their homes were not the huge antebellum homes. They were just a lot of them looked like dog trot cabins that they had built, and they had gotten rid of that dog trot.
Right.
But,
Probably similar to that one that Charles Hartley and I looked at.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Benjamin Green,
This is one of his sons.
born January 29th, 1846, died July 14th, 1868. I'm related to some Greens down in Sumter County. Don't know of any that I'm related to around here, but I'm sure there's some connection somewhere.
Most of the time there is.
And then next are the Harelsons.
Harelsons, yes.
And they are actually behind the church.
The thing that's so interesting to me, there's so many styles of graves here,
Yes.
from very crude to very fancy, and the years have just, that's the thing, that this church has been here for so many years. They're still having, I noticed they're still having burials here.
Yeah.
So the church is still active.
Right.
So one right next to it is. It's interesting.
Yeah. We were talking about the differences in the grave markers and also the damage. I think this one's been repaired
Okay.
at some time too, because it's got, that's more modern, and by modern, like, early 1900s concrete, that kind of soft concrete, which would be, what, you said they came out here and honored him in the 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
They may have fixed it up then, because that would align with that style of concrete versus this one that's fallen apart. And even this one's not falling apart, but it's not, doesn't have concrete in all the
All the joints.
cracks. Yeah, all the joints.
There was a tree growing out of that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet they did that with that one in the 20s. I wonder if they drilled and put a Revolutionary War plaque on it, and that's what those pins are in that one.
I don't know. It amazed me because now Louise Calhoun Barfield was not involved in this one, but she was in most of the ones in the 40s and 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Yeah.
And they always had a new marker put there.
Right, exactly.
So I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder, there may have been some kind of brass or bronze marker that was affixed to this, and that's why those pins are there.
Yeah.
And someone either stole it or it fell off, because there's certainly, there was something that these held. Because it's pins through.
All the way,
then,
isn't it all the way through?
Yeah, they're all the way through, and it screws back here, so it was something that they screwed.
I bet it was. I bet someone took it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's probably an early DAR marker or something. This is a box tomb. Had a rock wall around that one and this one. Box tomb there, box tomb there. And then these are the Harelsons. And he's got a polished granite marker. Jesse Burgess Harelson Jr.,
Yes.
February 16th, 1840 to February 10th, 1824, Lieutenant, CSA, Company F, 21st Regiment. He is about the second grave, either the second or third grave we've seen somebody who died just days before their birthday here today.
He was wounded, and they sent him home, and that it was over. Probably by the time he got home, it was over. But his his house was the one that I was talking about. He married a Wilkinson. His second wife was Ann Wilkinson.
Right there, yeah.
And they moved the house 2 miles above the Chattahoochee River, probably because it kept flooding then. But they took the old Wilkinson home and made a new home.
Wow.
So they had 6 children. He outlived 2 wives. His first wife died in 1881. It was Mary Jane Cofield Green, and then this was his second wife, Ann Wilkinson. He was a very wealthy planter. He had enslaved people, but after the war, they pretty much lost everything. So.
Then there's Florence R. Harelson, daughter of J.B. and A.V.
Yes, and she never married.
Yeah, she died very young, 14 years old.
Yeah, so she was. And then Thomas Burgess Harelson.
He's beside him.
He's the other one that's buried here. So.
Yeah, 1883 to 1913. That's sad to see. My daughter just turned 15. It's sad to see. Then back here, there's I saw a Wilkinson, A.D. Wilkinson, April 13th, 1838 to August 26th, 1908. Just noticed that since we looked at the Wilkinsons earlier.
I think that's one of Neil K. Wilkinson's children.
And there's John Walter, who is the son of A.D. Wilkinson, born 1877, died August 21st, 1882. And Charlie T., another son, born 1873, died 1886. There's a grave with a concrete on top of brick. And then there's several more right there, right here at the back of the church. The Hudsons. It's a quarried box tomb right there. And there was another one here that I saw. This Augustus A. Lane, born June 30th, 1837, and died September 3rd, 1864, a soldier at rest. O blessed sleep, from which none e'er wake to weep. So I wonder if he was killed in the war.
I did not see that, but he may have been.
Maybe he was sent home. And you know what's interesting, what we can see here, kind of put together as we look at this. He died September 3rd, 1864, and his wife was pregnant when he died, because there's, in memory of Mary Lecta, daughter of Augustus A. and Mary R. Lane, born February 22nd, 1865, died July 27th, 1871. So
only 6.
Yeah, he died and left a pregnant wife. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is an incredible amount of history in this cemetery, from the oldest church in the county right here. I'll have to look and see if I can find a picture of this without the vinyl siding on it, because it is an amazing, huge structure there, and we'd love to see the inside of it. Lots of amazing stories here: Revolutionary War veteran, Revolutionary War heroine, and a British loyalist.
A British loyalist.
And all the other stories. So big thank you to Mrs. Linda McCardle for inviting me out today and studying this history. And also, Joy will be doing a talk with the Muskogee County Genealogical Society at the Columbus Library.
November 22nd at 2:30.
So y'all come on out for that. I did one back in
October or September?
September.
September.
All right, and we will see you on the next adventure.
Thank you.